looks crazy. There we go. Tuck that in. What is up? I'm just coming live after I wanted to touch on or give an update or speak more on what I was talking about earlier or yesterday, I should say, in regards to this government shutdown and companies not hiring or companies looking to for mass layoffs. So update on my ideas and things that I said in my last discussion yesterday. So after my discussion from yesterday, I saw that UPS is having a mass layoff of 48,000 jobs being cut. Now, sorry, I'm reading a news article from CBS. It says, no hire, no fire. Job market may no longer be a thing as big companies announce mass layoffs. I'm going to go ahead and read this article before I even get into it. Let me move off of my screen. 1 second. Always an ad somewhere popping up. Please move. All right. I'm going to read this because I did read this article, but this is from CBS News, and the title is No Hire, No Fire. Job market may no longer be a thing as big companies announce mass layoffs. And it's written by Amy Peachy and dated October 29th, October 29th, 2025. And it says, for the most part of 2025, the job market was described by economists as no hire, no fire, a stretch of time when job seekers face slim prospects, but workers could count on job security. But that fragile balance may now be shifting. Labor experts warn as mass layoffs of companies like Amazon and UPS signal a possible turning point for the labor market. Amazon on Tuesday announced 14,000 job cuts, citing a shift towards artificial intelligence, while UPS on the same day said it has reduced its workforce by 48,000 from a year earlier. Paramount Skydance, the owner of CBS News, on Wednesday also announced it is shedding jobs, part of an ongoing effort to cut costs at the entertainment and media company. Target on Tuesday also notified a state employment agency in Minnesota, where the retailer is based, that it plans to lay off more than 800 workers in January as part of a broader corporate restructuring. CBS News. All right. Hey, I don't know what happened. What happened? I'm going to start back over. For some reason, the stream had got cut off. I'm going to start back over. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me. I am going to be reading an article speaking on the current job market, and I'll speak on and give my commentary afterwards. Okay, it's from CBS News, and it's called No Hire, No Fire. Job market may no longer be a thing as big companies announce mass layoffs. Okay, and it's written by Amy Peachy. I think you say Peachy. It's spelled Piccchi. Peachy? I'm assuming it's how you say it. And it's dated yesterday, October. Well, actually, no, it's updated for today, October 29th. It was updated this morning at 9:43 a.m. Okay, so we getting fresh news. All right, here I go. I'm gonna read the article, guys. For most of 2025, the job market was described by economists as no hire. Oh, the title of it is No Hire, No Fire. Job market may no longer be a thing as big companies announce mass layoffs. Okay, let me begin it. For the most part of 2025, the job market was described by economists as no fire, no hire, a stretch of time when job seekers face slim prospects, but workers could count on job security. But that fragile balance may now be shifting. Labor experts warn as mass layoffs at companies like Amazon and UPS signal a possible turning point for the labor market. Amazon on Tuesday announced 14,000 job cuts, citing a shift towards artificial intelligence, something I've been speaking about. While UPS on the same day said it has reduced its workforce by 48,000, meaning they are going to cut 48,000 jobs from a year earlier. Paramount Skydance, the owner of CBS, on Wednesday also announced it is shedding jobs, part of an ongoing effort to cut costs at the entertainment and media company. Target on Tuesday also notified a state employment agency in Minnesota, where the retailer is based, that it plans to lay off more than 800 workers in January as part of a broader corporate reconstructing. CBS News Minnesota reported. The retailer announced last week that it would cut 1,800 corporate positions as the chain trims its global workforce by 8%. The mass layoffs come as the Federal Reserve scrutinizes the labor market for signs of weakness, with Fed Chair Jerome Powell last month citing concerns about slower hiring in announcing the central bank's first interest rate cut of 2025. The announcements from Amazon and UPS could signal that the Fed has good reason to be worried, experts say. No question that it is a shift, or it does seem to me that it signals that no fire is a thing of the past. I'm not sure about that. Cites John Challenger, CEO of outplacement firm Challenger, Gray, and Christmas, told CBS News. These are major layoffs, the kind of which we only see in periods of real change in the economy. I can concur with that. Layoffs picking up. Even before Tuesday's job cuts, layoffs had been trending higher, according to the data from Challenger, Gray, and Christmas. Employers across the U.S. cut nearly 950,000 jobs this year through December. That's almost a million jobs that were cut. The largest number of layoffs since 2020. And I've been reading articles about that as well. And that is very true. Sorry. Very true. In most recent data that shows, and I've seen a lot of articles about that as well. Even prior in 2019 and stuff, there were millions of jobs that were cut. And then going into COVID, millions more were cut due to the pandemic. So that is definitely true. But actually, prior to 2020, a lot of jobs were lost as well. Furthermore, official federal reports on the state of the labor market have been suspended due to the government shutdown. How convenient that we don't know what the true status of the labor market is because the government is shut down. And then, depending on who you talk to, they probably wouldn't believe the data anyway, depending on where they stand within politics, regardless of what you believe. The government shut down, we're not going to really know what's truly going on. So that means that what we're reading is probably worse than what it actually is. Hello, thank you for joining us. I'm going to continue reading. Um, of Official federal reports on the state of the labor market have been suspended due to the government shutdown, which means that the Fed will make its next interest rate decision tomorrow on October 29th without information about hiring in September. So, whatever information we're getting today is not going to even be focused on what the current market is. And that's scary. And that also shows that there's not a clear understanding of what's truly going on and not enough transparency to justify why these issues are happening. I will continue. But job growth has slowed sharply in recent months, with average monthly payroll gains of roughly 27,000 between May and August, down from average gains of nearly 123,000 per month between January and April, labor data shows. On October 1st, the ADP National Employment Report, a measure of private employment in the U.S., said payrolls at private employers declined by 32,000 jobs in September. At the same time, recent reports suggest layoffs have accelerated in October, Grace Zwimmer, associate economist with Oxford Economics, said in a report Wednesday. State level data also shows jobless claims by federal employees topped 10,000 in the week ended October 18th, a sign that the stalemate in Congress is taking a toll. And we already know that as well, as we see states that can't afford to help with EBT and things like that for people that are losing those said services, how the states are having to rally to help people versus relying on the government, because you can't, because the government is shut down. To be sure, the nation's unemployment rate remains low by historical standards, edged up to 4.3% in August from 4.2% in July. Now, do we truly believe that? I don't know if we truly believe that, but I'll keep going because if we're already not getting clear, substantial, transparent information because the government is shut down, that means we're still relying on outdated information for any type of information that's currently going on. So we don't have an accurate account of that. So we cannot say that it remains historically low. But I digress. I will continue reading. The latest layoffs are unlikely to dramatically drive up joblessness. I don't believe that. I think that they will continue. When we look at the scale of the announcements, vice, the broader economy and the data we have from unemployment claims, we do not see them at a scale where the unemployment rate is going to shoot up. That's from Andy Stetner, Director of Economy and Jobs at the left-leaning Century Foundation. I don't believe that. But he added, these larger corporate downsizings are happening at a time when there aren't many job openings. I don't know if I believe that statement either, being that I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn and I see that a lot of the jobs that are there, you have yeah, I agree that there's not a lot of job openings, but I also feel that a lot of jobs that we do see, they're not really jobs that companies are trying to really fill because a position will sit for a long time and you wonder if a company really is looking to take that person in and hire the individual. Why is the job sitting for so long? So it's very skewed right now about what is really going on, what is really real, and what is really not real, and how transparent these companies are being. But I'll continue. But he added that let me see. That means some workers who lose their jobs could struggle to find new employment. Exactly. As a result, the ranks of long term unemployed people or those who have been searching for work for more than 6 months are predicted to rise even higher from its August figure of almost 2 million, the highest level since 2022. It's actually more than that because when you look at labor data, it's only looking at the recently unemployed or those that have recently lost a paycheck or those who actually are signing up for government assistance because they've been fired. So for those, because there are people that have been out of work since COVID and are only working small jobs, gig type work, such as DoorDash, Uber Eats, stuff like that, doing that type of work because they've not been able to find employment. So when we see this data, that's how you know that it is skewed and it's not really true and focusing on actual real data about what's really going on in the labor market. And it even says within this article that the new rate cuts or whatever that the Fed is going to be speaking on is not including the current jobs that have just been shed. So regardless of what the Fed's decisions are being made, those decisions aren't being made on accurate data of the actual labor workforce. And exactly with how you hear a lot of arguments within the current labor market of hi.
Hi.
How are you doing? How was school? Oh my god, that is so cute. Well, come say hi to YouTube. Come say hi. Show them your cool thing.
Hi.
All right. I'll see you in a second. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Wasn't that cool? He had a little dinosaur thing. So cool. But as I was saying, so that means that the information that the Fed is doing is for in making these changes to the interest rates. I haven't looked at the current news to see what that decision is or what if they even spoke today. I'm going off of what this article said, and this article was updated at 9 this morning. So based on that information, we're not getting any the decisions that are being made aren't made on accurate, transparent information. So you can't really go by what you're really hearing, right? So I'll continue with the article. What's impacting the labor market? Employers are cutting jobs due to several factors. Experts say ranging from artificial intelligence, something I'm always talking about, to economic uncertainty, as we know because of the tariffs and all the things that are going on politically. Earlier this year, Amazon CEO Andy Jassy said the economy giant's investment in AI tools will allow the company to trim its human workforce as the business becomes more efficient. Now, when I hear that, I think it's important to understand that we cannot only rely on just AI doing what we expect it to do. Yes, we're going to trim the workforce, but we also need to make sure that we're hiring for individuals that can oversee and ensure oversight of AI and not just letting go of workers to let go of workers because we assume that it's going to be more efficient. Efficient doesn't always mean effective. So my comment on that to Andy Jassy would be that. Furthermore, he states Amazon really pointed to robotics, AI, and new technology being on the cutting edge of the technology for shifting jobs. So when they say shifting jobs, are they really shifting those jobs? If you're doing mass layoffs, how are you going about this job shift? Especially since he's kind of being the spearhead and leading how businesses are going to be implementing AI. His business is really kind of a blueprint of what others are going to mimic because that's what the businesses do. They mimic their competitors, especially if the competitor is successful. So it'd be interesting to see if he's going to be very transparent about that. How are you going to go about shifting jobs? About 1/4 of technology industry experts said that they had experienced layoffs or role eliminations due to AI adoption during the past 2 years, according to a new study from career site Indeed. Other companies are holding off on hiring or are cutting jobs from other reasons. UPS cited the impact of the Trump administration's tariffs, as well as shipping declines from Amazon, its biggest customer. So, if Amazon is having shipping declines, and they think that focusing more on AI will help with efficiency, that doesn't guarantee that they will still have more sales, right? They're just betting on it. Furthermore, it says Amazon has been building its own delivery infrastructure, leading it to cut back on its use of UPS. I guess that's with the drones and stuff that they're looking to implement, but that doesn't necessarily guarantee because you still have to rely on UPS and the United States Postal Service for a lot of delivery, especially if you are in rural areas. On Monday, children's clothing brand Carter said it is cutting 300 jobs or 15% of its workforce and closing 150 stores over the next 3 years due to higher costs from tariffs, which are import duties paid by U.S. companies to the federal government. The Trump administration has said that its tariffs would help protect U.S. manufacturing and boost domestic production as businesses move their operations stateside. In meantime, Americans are growing more pessimistic about the job market, according to the recent CBS News polling. About 52% of Americans describe the labor market as bad, up 7%. 7 percentage points from April, the poll found. We're moving more into a time where job security might be more precarious. We've always had issues with job security, but I find it interesting that about 52% of Americans describe the labor market as bad now, up 7% points from April when we've been dealing with, hello, thank you for joining me, when we've been dealing with mass layoffs, not even since, we've been dealing with mass layoffs for the past 2 years, honestly. Even since pre-COVID, as I said earlier, 2019, and then of course COVID happened, so then it was more layoffs. So we never truly built those jobs back. All those jobs were not built back. As I said, that there have been millions that have still been out of work and have just taken on gig work. It's just that when you look at labor data, it always focuses on the current or what's within the last 6 months. So if people aren't continuously applying to jobs or applying for some form of government assistance, you never really have an accurate account of what's going on. Now, what do I think about this? And how I feel people should go about it sorry, let me move back over since I'm no longer reading. What do I think about this? I think that we're moving into a time where it's best to support small business, I feel. Corporations that can afford automation and AI, they're going to be the ones investing in it. Smaller businesses are not. So why should we continue to support larger businesses that aren't looking to support the average worker, the average individual, right? So I think where we should focus is on local, shopping at your farmers, and things like that. That's what I think. And I think if you are a business owner and you're an entrepreneur, or if you're considering to be an entrepreneur, now's the time to step forward. But you need to make sure that you're focusing on solving an actual problem. We see that businesses are looking at being more efficient. Their idea of being efficient is obviously to implement AI and automation. That's what they're all focusing on. But how is that truly benefiting a business? Is it actually beneficial? Is it taking the efficient approach, even if it's really efficient? Because there's research out that shows that all these companies that are investing in AI really have not seen a return on investment from it. They've made these investments, but they haven't really seen a return on investment. I've spoken about that on LinkedIn a lot. So it's very interesting to see that companies are still, I mean, like with Amazon, I kind of get it because it's manufacturing. So yeah, that's big machinery, moving boxes and uh warehousing around. That makes sense to invest in more manufacturing style of AI. But in the end, you still need oversight. You still need the human. You need the human aspect to ensure that what is being conducted is actually effective. That's where the research comes in. That's where the human aspect comes in. And then even within, you have the management of the business operations, which is still the human aspect. So regardless of these businesses looking to streamline, whether through economic fears or just efficiency in regards to thinking that AI and different automations is the key and the most effective approach and solution, it doesn't guarantee that it's actually beneficial. So the human aspect will always need to be a voice for that, and a way of ensuring that even the effectiveness of it occurs. So it shows that you can't, it's just showing that the human will always be a part and cannot just be one that just disappears from the face. And also, it also shows the importance of a need from transparency, not only within these corporations, but also within how government is making these decisions, and then these decisions are impacting businesses and citizens as well. So it's just very interesting the times that we are in, and how this lack of transparency is also hindering what's really going on with the labor market, and how decisions are being made since the government is shut down, and how that's impacting everything and trickling into everything. And since we're speaking on the government being shut down, and what was the overall point of me coming on, was I wanted to speak and harp back on how I mentioned yesterday how it's very quiet and no one's really uprising. And I have to say that it's really fear. Everyone is in a state of fear right now, and they don't know what to expect, especially if you have a government job and you are furloughed. You're hoping to come back. So you don't want to get on the internet or anywhere and complain. You don't want to say anything. You want to ensure that your job is secure, because we all know when the government does open back up, the goal is to continue to cut jobs. The goal is to further streamline and eliminate, right? So if you're furloughed, you don't want to be in that elimination equation. So I definitely misspoke yesterday when I said that individuals need to speak up. I understand why individuals don't want to speak up. I get it. I get it. They don't want to speak up. And especially even also within the workforce, I understand why individuals don't want to speak up about what's currently going on. Like if you work in Amazon right now and you see that they're cutting jobs, you don't want to speak up. You don't want to lose your job. You don't want to be on the chopping block. It's interesting and scary that the times that we're in now, that your freedom of speech is being taken away from you because you are fearful that you will lose your job, regardless if you work in public or private sector. That is something that we all need to be fearful about and concerned about. Definitely. That is something that we all need to be concerned about and understand that we're at a time where our voices are being stifled. We're at a time where uncertainty is the norm and will continue to be the norm. And we're at a time where we have to truly build community around us because of uncertainty. And we're at a time where we need to truly understand what our skills are, how our skills are beneficial, and how you can move forward in this new normal of uncertainty. And we have to, and I think that that's most important with where we are. And I think that's scary, but no one should be scared. It should be scary because it's the unknown, right? But we should not be scared. You should not be afraid. You should not be afraid. We have everything at our fingertips. There's nothing you cannot do in this world that we're in now that can result in you being successful. Regardless of how you feel about AI, you can utilize it to make you successful and to achieve any goal that you once probably felt was unattainable, all through one prompting, all through asking a question. And that highlights the importance of communication and how communication is the wave of the future. And communication determines how successful you can be, whether you choose to go on and start a business or you choose to be a leader within the company that you're working in. That and your voice is what's going to guarantee and determine your viability within a business. How you communicate, even if you are being critical, it will determine whether you are truly an asset. You being an asset is how you go about expressing yourself, and how you expressing yourself is deemed worthy for a business, because you have to be able to solve problems. You have to be able to highlight how those problems that you're solving actually contribute to a business's bottom line. And that's what's so important in this day and age. You being able to have a true voice and recognize that when you speak, it must matter and it must contribute in a substantial way. Because at the end of the day, regardless where you are or what you're doing, people want to see results. They want to see that it's beneficial to them and that they are able to utilize that information to go on and help others to be successful as well. Because that's the whole goal at the end of the day, for us to all be successful, all of us to try to find a way to be, to benefit not just us, but our family, our friends, our colleagues, and all those that we truly care about. And you can only do that if you're able to truly benefit and learn from others. And if others aren't able to learn from you, then what are you doing? You know, you're not helping the world. You're a detriment, and no one needs to be a detriment, not in this day in society, because that means that you're worthless, and no one should be deemed worthless. I don't know. Just rambling. I'm glad you guys have joined me. I hope you, and if you missed the first part of this live, I read an article talking about the current state of the job market and different companies that have been firing, and how it's just interesting that everyone is leaning towards AI and it being the hero, I guess people assume. I don't see AI as a hero. I see AI as a tool, and a tool is something that you use. It's not something that you rely on to be a voice for you. That's how I see it. It cannot be your voice because we, as the human, are the innovator. We are the one that creates and tells and makes these technologies and all these advances that we're having. So we're making it with the understanding that it's to do good or to do better. But in the wrong hands, it can be a detriment. I spoke about this yesterday too, of how, we see within the wrong hands, it can be a detriment. Even how when we're building the data centers, not we, as in the humans building the data centers, and how we know it's a detriment to different areas and people. But we know there's a better way and a more healthier and more economical and safe way of doing that. And we need to make sure that we're championing that and finding ways to ensure that that happens. So, as I said, it's all on how we communicate, how we stand up. Hi, Black ID. I'm reading your comment. These people aren't trying to fix the problems that we have with the economy. Our problems will continue to get worse until we get the right people in charge, but a change will happen and we will be better. I understand and I truly believe that. I truly believe that. I feel that we're at a time where, you can truly see someone's character. Before we all had, well, not me. I don't feel that I was, but I mean, for some, they had rose-colored glasses on so they couldn't see, right? So they assumed that what they knew about somebody or what that person told them was who that person really was. But now we're in a time where we all can see who's for us or against us. And that's why people are running scared, and you see people moving into their corners and they're being more evil or they're saying more evil things. And then you see others that are trying to help. So regardless of what you believe politically, and you get this defense mode where others are showing their hatred. They're no longer hiding who they were. The mask has fallen off. I truly feel that we're in a time of that type of transparency where it's very evident who's for us and who's not for us. And then you could think, I mean, they could even be on the political side that you deem is right, and they're not really for you. They're for the other side. So there's a lot of covertness going on, and you can see that now. So there's not really one side is better than the other. It's just you recognizing who's truly real and transparent and who's really true for bettering society. Because that's what I'm for. That's why I get on here and talk about every day. I'm not telling you to pick what side or what, I'm telling you who is truly right for you and society as a whole. And that doesn't necessarily mean focusing from a religious aspect or anything like that. It's just what is morally right, because sometimes we can get caught up in ideology and assume it's correct, that we can't see what's right or wrong. And that's what we're in right now. That's what we're experiencing right now, because people are allowing their ideology and their beliefs to steer decisions, regardless if it's morally correct, good for society, or not. Definitely. That's what I truly believe. So that's why I try to speak from I don't know. I don't know. This channel is designed to focus on, the business aspect, but also from a human understanding and a human psychological aspect, and try to find some understanding of how we can still better ourselves and be successful at the same time. So I don't know what I would call it. Still learning. I just get on here and run my mouth. Speaking of that, I've been on here for a while because this is my second live because it had got interrupted. So I had to come back. So technically, I've been on here for about 40 minutes, even though it doesn't seem it. Thank you so much. And same to you. God bless you and yours as well. I'm going to go ahead and get off of here now because I'm hungry. And I need to get something to eat. And I appreciate you for joining me and commenting. Don't forget to, don't forget to check out when I come on live next time. I'm going to do my best to try to come on every day from now on. It might not happen. If not every day, at least once a week. I'm going to do my best to do that. But I appreciate you. And until next time, love yourself and others. Bye.